For those of you who are surprised or confused by this beginning, let me assure you that this is an educational motion picture. Barr Educational Films presents Man and the State. Hamilton and Jefferson on Democracy. That's the title of the film. Allow me to repeat it so you won't forget. Man and the State. Hamilton and Jefferson on Democracy. Oh yes, we must have a copyright. Thank you. What a treat we have in store for you today. For this film, we are bringing back to life two of the founding fathers of this great country of ours. On my right, the man who was instrumental in the ratification of the Constitution, the first Secretary of the Treasury, the friend and advisor to George Washington, Alexander Hamilton. And on my left, the author of the Declaration of Independence, the first Secretary of State, the third President of the United States, Thomas Jefferson. You know who you are?
I am...
You are? Tell us who you are.
I am Alexander Hamilton.
Very good. Very good indeed. And what is the last thing you remember?
I can't.
You must try, Hamilton.
A hill.
A hill?
A hill. Pistols. A duel. I fought a duel with Burr. Aaron Burr.
Tell us exactly what happened.
We choose our weapons. Positions have been marked for us. We stand with our backs to each other. At the count of 3, we are to turn to fire.
1, 2, 3.
All I remember was the flash of the muzzle of Burr's pistol. At the same moment, a great blow struck me. I fell.
The bullet entered the right side, fractured a rib, passed through the diaphragm and liver, and finally lodged in the lumbar vertebrae. Thus died Alexander Hamilton. And Thomas Jefferson, what is your last recollection?
Nothing so dramatic. I lived a long time. Perhaps too long. My last memory is of my bedroom in Monticello.
This is the 4th.
What did he say?
I think he asked if it was the 4th. Why don't you tell him that it is?
I will not lie to him. No, dear heart. It's still the 3rd.
I wanted to know if it was the 4th of July. Sentiment, perhaps. But at the end, it was very important to me.
What day is it?
It is the 4th. The 4th of July.
The 4th.
How fitting. Thomas Jefferson and John Adams both dying on the same day, July 4th, 1826, the 50th anniversary of the Day of Independence. Thomas Jefferson, one of history's most brilliant men, philosopher, educator, naturalist, linguist, politician, architect, inventor, musician, writer. What did you think of him?
Truly a giant among men.
The truth, man.
He was crafty in gaining his objectives, and unscrupulous about the means in which he used to achieve success. He was pious, but sly. Nor was he mindful of the truth. In short, he was a hypocrite.
Alexander Hamilton, a genius with great ability to plan and execute.
Arrogant and dictatorial.
A clear and elegant speaker with a commanding style, a superb pamphleteer, editorialist, and political writer.
Utterly lacking in sympathy or understanding for the common man.
Brilliant, witty, fascinating, daring.
He believed in nothing but the necessity of force and violence to govern men.
What about men, Jefferson? How do you see man's nature?
I believe man is a rational animal, endowed by nature with rights and with an innate sense of justice. Man is not at the mercy of conditions, but is capable of subjecting them to a higher standard, reason. In brief, I have faith in the common sense of the people.
Hamilton?
There are those like Jefferson who believe that the voice of the people is the voice of God. Believe me, they are mistaken. The people are turbulent and changing. They seldom judge or determine correctly. To govern as though men were reasonable is a certain way to lead a nation into chaos.
I think we have established some basic attitudes, gentlemen. Now it is time for me to tell you why you are here. This is an educational motion picture. And this is the camera.
You're the inventor. What is it?
Probably some newfangled kind of telescope.
The sound recorder. Here is the set, austere and simple as you can see. And since this is an educational film, we must teach something. And what we are going to teach is your ideas, gentlemen, your political philosophies. And we will do this through the medium of debate.
I will debate nothing.
Gentlemen, I am more than a mere master of ceremonies. I am also the director. And in a film, the director rules more absolutely than any king. And I, the director, say that you will debate great ideas.
We are agreed.
We bow to no tyranny.
We will debate nothing, great or small.
Editor, pop him off! Neither of you has an identity unless I give it to you. If I command the camera to cut, the sound man to erase the tapes, the editor to cut the film, you will vanish, cease to exist, completely. Now that you have witnessed the magic of the cinema, we can proceed. Since we are out of place in time, Hamilton and Jefferson can examine three major American crises from different eras, and I'm certain they will be happy to discuss them for us. Ladies and gentlemen, teachers and students, the first crisis. We bring you the Civil War. In the early 1800s, sectional differences began to undercut the Union. The Northeast was becoming urbanized and dominated by manufacturing and finance. It desired tariffs to protect its industries. The South was agricultural. It relied on a plantation system to raise cotton, tobacco, and sugar. The South opposed tariffs, but wanted to protect its own peculiar institution, slavery. Guerrilla wars were fought to try to influence whether a territory such as Kansas was to be free or slave. Abolitionists helped slaves escape to the North. The abolitionist John Brown raids Harper's Ferry. Now Lincoln, opposed to slavery, has been elected president. Southern states secede from the Union. The South attacks Fort Sumter. War begins.
Dear God. So it comes to this. Free men slaughtering each other.
In 1787, I met in Philadelphia with Franklin, Madison, Washington, and the others to draft the Constitution. You, Jefferson, were minister to Paris that summer. We all, whatever our differences, feared what would happen if we failed to create a strong union. But there were compromises, too many compromises, and we created a central government too weak to survive. And now this. Jealous states, narrow interests, anarchy, rebellion, bloodshed.
Yes, I was in Paris. But you were acquainted with both my views and my fears. And these fears have come to pass. A too powerful central government trying to impose its will on the states.
The selfish states of America.
States that stand as bastions against the tyranny of the federal government. What you desire, Hamilton, is a king.
Better a king than a demagogue. Elected only because he is able to sway the emotions of a mob.
I would stake my life on the sound political instincts of the mob, as you call them.
And what results? A civil war.
The war grows, swells, prospers.